Alright, so let's see. Gotta look for my videos again. And don't think silly one or two don't mean I won't notice it or a bundle, right? Of a certain kind. I notice. And you can't replace one I already watched with one I watched once. But not twice. No choice. You see, like a normal person, I'd go through it one at a time. Because you're not doing it nicely, are you? You're shoot first, ask questions later type man. We'll meet the Lord Jesus Christ first, true witness since the last disciple died on Patmos. Who knows the Roman lance is mightier than your little bullet. In size comparison, you know what I mean? If he can heal lepers, right? And raise from the dead 3 days later, or less. No matter what they did to him, no matter what they did to him. By the way, he's the true Messiah. He's the true Messiah, and God backed him up, not men. Not men. Sometimes that's the problem with you men. You want God to back you, and He only backs you so far. Right? Satan too. He's the one who hardens your heart. Now, sometimes, ladies, you need to harden your heart with some of these assholes. I ain't saying I don't understand that, right? Right. So I'm missing a few Aikido videos, right? That's what I'm looking for right now, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At least three, I think, off the top of my head. I know. Got all my judo, got all my samurai, except for the Akijitsu, which that's what Aikido is based on, right? So they say. I'm missing some Kimpo from Larry Tatum. The first five, I think. Right, right. So maybe someone came by last night, maybe not. I can't prove it because of amnesia, right? But amnesia don't prove they didn't either. That's the problem there. Trying to get ready for trash and all that. Let's see. Nothing else really looks out of place, right? And like I said, I'll look until I find it, but I know it wouldn't be that far. It would either be on the dresser, right? Or the other dresser. And I'm pretty sure there were three piles, right? And if I remember correctly from yesterday, right? Sure enough. You're also testing my memory now. I know that too. What I do and don't remember, like if you bring me a little hottie, right? And we hook up, right? That he might let you black out, right? That's not important because the little hottie is under your control, right? And I can't do nothing about that, right? Even you letting her be with me is at your whim, right? Not hers or mine, right? So I do her good, right? So she don't complain. Right. So you do the little hottie better than they want you to, so she'll not want to be with them. mm And just you. You do everything to make her feel good. I mean everything. Even buzz your tongue. Now, thing is though, right? How many little hotties do you have to spare? I mean, come on. Even Solomon only had 1,000. Wilt Chamberlain 10,000, and Fidel Castro, a dictator, 35,000. Right? Or so are there, right? I don't know, really. But a dictator can do all that, right? A popular basketball star can do all that. I'm not supposed to be able to do all that. But I could too, right? But like I said, send me mixed directions to date my girlfriend after we break up. David Maddox, right? And then tell me not to date Tina and Kathy if they were both hit on me suddenly when I'm joking around about eating them out and doing a menage a trois, right? And they take me up on the offer or something, right? It's the only thing I can think of, right? And then, of course, you know, what good's a condom if you done had sex without one, right? That could be what Tina was saying, but then she realized I didn't remember it, right? That was one of the signs, right? If we did something and I don't remember it, David must have done something to me in the meantime and I don't remember what happened, right? If he gives me like a condom, he knows we fucked. He just don't want me to know we fucked, right? I probably already told him that, David. Right? By the way. Because I'll be worried about it anyway. I'm not saying it was my idea. It wasn't your idea. But if it was theirs, right? Even if I was joking at first, I would try to kind of make sure they were sure, right? And you know, that means they're a little bi-curious too, right? So like I said, you wouldn't mind if they did it with you, but if they did it with me first, you would have a problem with it, huh? Right? Yours will be because of penis size, mine will be because I was at vaginas first, right? And they wanted someone a little more feminine looking, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I'm guessing, like I said, the whole thing. Alright, so gotta take out some of the trash, and it's still not daylight yet, so I'm kind of cleaning up, Mom. I just got boxes to tear down a little bit that I got this weekend and over the weekend. Like I said, I do order from the catalogs once in a while. And I'm missing certain things like a TV. It's 9-inch TV, right? I'm also supposed to get a little XL wheelchair type thing, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see what else. And slippers. I'm missing my slippers, right? They're supposed to be uh, on the way. Mm-hmm. But see, she knows she's got to take something for me to even guess someone came over, right? She'd get wise to that if it was her. I know. But I don't know which one she is either, you know. Mm-hmm. She knows if she don't move something around or right, something like that, I don't even know if she came by, right? Exactly. see another DVD with my other stuff. But I don't think I put it there. Exactly. That's what I mean. The first thing you do when something's missing is you look around the general area it's missing in. And you should see it if it's immediately recognizable. Yeah. Yeah. Like right there, I see a little CD in the basket I ain't seen yet. I'm not sure which one it is, but it looks different, dude. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Motown. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I'm not a snitch. I'm telling you the truth. It's different, right? So usually a snitch is someone who's still dirty, but snitching you out. Right. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I just keep looking through it. Mm-hmm. Because I generally know which videos I had on each stack too, right? Mm-hmm. And the number. Like I got 11 had keto, but I got two different versions, three different versions of that, right? Mm-hmm. Then I got Hepketo by different people. Frank Trejo. I wonder if he's related to Danny Trejo, though. Sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. Oh, could be a common name in Mexico, too. On the Mexican radio. See if I'm going to put it with the others. Nope. And 4 is still missing. She had a good time last night. You know, I didn't look over with the other ones, right? And it would either be on this shelf or right, on the bed still, like I said, right? Obvious places, or even under the bed, right? Right. This is Larry Tatum all the way to um, Jeff speaking, and then some little group out of Europe. I don't know. Right. But they're more Shidaru or Shotacon, right? Mm-hmm. Alright, there they are. Well, I got a lot to look through, like I told you, right? Some could be anonymous to this day, right? Some you done watched and should have the other DVD, not a different DVD, right? I know. You should have 4 in Aikido. Akijutsu, right? Not 3, another 3 in Judo, right? You didn't order that. But they sent you the correct order at first, right? That's something entirely different, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Miss Judo is about a Japanese woman who had to choose between taking judo or even marrying. That's how fucked up the men are in Japan. And it ain't good men, you're bad men. You're so male dominant. You're the assholes, you're the beast. You're the beast. You're all the male beasts. You all behave carnally towards women. Because you're all you see. Walk by faith, not by sight, don't mean just because you're all you see that you all there is. Was it and will ever be. And if there's a third gender, meaning both, you're not the first gender. Like you're trying to make yourself with Satan's help, right? He was male once too. And female too. But like Jesus, we all could start out androgynously, especially from heaven, right? And then male and female, right? And only one's androgynous, right? The rest are from him, right? Whether in heaven or earth, right? Now, heaven and earth are supposed to be one. You're supposed to be one with your gaseous self and your earthly self, right? Your heavenly self or gaseous self, right, is your living self as an angel, right? And your angel knows are supposed to be on Jesus' side or Satan's side, right? That's what they do, right? You have a choice here, right? To do right or wrong. Now, like I said, in sex, Jesus might work with you a little if you're gay or this or that, right? He ain't too hard on you there. He knows you might be kind of right. Some of you. Now, if you're just doing it, though, in sheer spite, that's the problem. That's the problem. For anyone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what's sad is they'll give a Shidoshi title to a male before they will a female. Who studied into the art just as much as a male did, right? It's still sexist. Because, see, she can whoop your ass just as much as the male can. And again, if you're holding back teaching or something, and we know what that might be. Like, you still, Peach wins all the time with male. That's right. Mm-hmm. You still that little Peach, right? But all it takes is one thing to be different, and I'll notice it. And then I'll be a little paranoid, right? Even if I misplaced something in all those CDs, right? That's natural too, right? But it's natural paranoia because someone's messing with me, right? I'm missing one DVD and another one was put in its place, and I can prove that, right? To that point that I got two judo DVDs, volume 3, right? And one is missing the Aikido video, the Akijitsu video, volume 4, which is the black belt level. That takes you to black belt, right? Well, you know I'm going to notice that one's missing. Though it don't matter which one is missing if one's missing, right? And you got it in a series. It was part of the whole original series that I've done watched the whole series at least once. Now that's just to familiarize yourself though with some of the techniques. I don't really have the one to practice with, but the Century Dummy or the I don't know other dummy. Now that one's about 70 pounds, one's about 120, but the other two are real big, right? They're about 200 pounds or more, probably, right? But like I said, I gotta work on it, not you. But anyway, But see, you're also trying to trick me, right? Right. Like I said, when it's something you can't prove, you're gonna sound a little crazy to your doctor, right? But you're doing that to make me seem mental, right? To the doctor. And he can't really go to my videos professionally, like he's just checking up on me, right? To see what I'm saying, right? It would be unprofessional, I guess, right? You know what I mean, right? But like I told him, if I don't smoke and I find the cigarette butt near my bedroom, I didn't bring it in, right? I don't know. It was someone who smokes once in a while, though. Oh, I know. And I can only guess who it is, right? It could be anyone who smoked around me, even Amanda Heat or Michael or Ray. Big Rod or Renee, right? I don't know. I don't think those two would, but I just don't know, right? You know, you don't want to accuse your own family, but they might be the sleeping with the enemy type. You just don't know. You just don't know. That's the problem too, right? And the worst case is it's a family member you wouldn't suspect, right? That's the worst case. But I'm reading in the Bible where certain queens are killing their own children or other children to make sure, of other women even, right? To make sure their child gets on the throne, right? We're talking, things David did too, right? To make sure if Uriah's wife was already pregnant by him, right? I mean, this strange woman's bathing nude, where only David could probably see her. And he saw her, and she knows she could also look up and see him. And he's supposed to deal with this perfectly, right? See, even Christian Fellowship don't get he's protecting the throne there, right? You got to, in case someone's trying to put their child on your throne, right? And see, that seems kind of set uppy, right? You don't see anyone but Bathsheba doing that where David can see her, right? So the question is she already pregnant trying to put her child on the throne, or did she not get pregnant by Uriah, but he just left after they had sex, and then she had her period, right? And it was with David 2 weeks later, and the child came within 2 weeks, but David ain't sure if it's Uriah's or his, right? So he does the damn, test where you put dust in the damn water, right? which would tear an infant's stomach inside out, right? And the child would bleed internally because the dust would get into the mother's milk, which would get into the stomach's belly, right? And the belly of a child cannot handle solid food until a certain age, right? Right. You know what I mean? Right. And that would cause it to bleed internally, right? With dust particles in the mother's milk, right? That's why it died suddenly, too, right? If David was to do all that, right? So there might be a scientific explanation why that child died and not the other 2 or 3 she had with her, right? Because she had Solomon and Nathan as well. Now, Solomon is mentioned in Joseph's line, but Nathan could be Mary's line, right? They're not sure why there's 2 different branches there, right? And it could have to do with Coniah being cursed, by the way, right? To not sit on the throne, right? The one of his seed, anyway, right? Which, again, right. How was he David's son anyway if he calls him Lord, right? And yet, you're not to love your mother or father. Son or daughter, because Christ is greater than all, right? If he's both, he's greater than all. He's greater than all, right? But how do you tell the world that only the Greeks have an idea of a hermaphrodite in the first place, but it still has balls and a penis, right? A true hermaphrodite don't, right? See, the visual image is wrong, right? Of hermaphroditus too, right? It don't have a penis and a vagina, right? And so is Shiva wrong a little bit, because one breast is that of a woman and the other that of a male, which you can get that out, right? Through the sperm and the egg joining together, right? That's not wrong either, right? If you look at it the right way, right? When the sperm joins with the egg, the male side of Shiva, joins with the female, who's Parvati and all that, joins with the female side of Shiva, right? Now, you could either be the Lord of Creation, though, or the Lord of Destruction, right? Right? You know what that means, too, right? The child conceived, right? Can be part of people's salvation or part of people's destruction. And more than likely, if Revelations is right, the more we learn about the truth, the more we're not going to want to face it, right? The more you don't face it, the more you're lying about it, even if you don't know you're lying about it. Now, how long did the children of Israel have in the wilderness? 40 years? Well, that's about how long they might have to rebuild the temple, right? 40 years, because it was prophesied by Isaac Newton or something like that, right? Who was heavy into mathematics, right? About that time, they might can rebuild the temple finally, right? But that's 2060, not now. We still have another 40 years, like I said. Plus, I discovered how the hooah, right, is your problem with the divine name, Jews. You don't mind Eliyahu, right? It's when it's Yahuwah you won't say it, right? And I know your problem with it, with the H, is feminine, and without the H, it's masculine, right? And you don't know why Moses did that, but I do. No, you do. We're all male and female. He might have been the full deal too, like Jesus like you. Why else wouldn't Pharaoh kill him, right? Now, if he's half female, half male in his body, right? He's going to have a penis and opening of a woman, right? He's going to have the opening of the female and the penis of a male, right? Kind of splits, right? Now, what that means is the testicles and ovaries are inside the body, right? I don't know if he had an extra rib like Adam, but you might want to check if they do or don't. I don't know, right? But they're also born after the sin with Satan, which was sexual in nature as well. they can't face that if they're a Nephilim or not, right? The Nephilim might have the rhesus monkey gene, though, and a true human don't. Ever think about that? It came from somewhere. What about the fallen angels? See, that's their way of blaspheming God further by making their offspring rhesus monkey in the blood. And maybe they also darkened the blood. Maybe it was more clear like a river. You know what I mean, right? And there was no red blood cells, right? Because red makes you see what? When you cut yourself, you're bleeding. But if the blood was clear, you wouldn't even know you cut yourself and would just keep going, right? See, that's my theory, too. Now, the passage talks about it being white as snow. That makes sense, right? You would still see it if you cut yourself if it was white as snow. But if it's clear as a river, right? A pure water, right? And the blood was clear, you wouldn't even know if you cut yourself any rain. And we'll just keep going and would heal instantly, right? Another thing is we never knew evil under Jesus for the first, I guess, 20,070 years, right? 24,000, however long a day is for God, right? Now, Moses is guessing at least 1,000 years as a day, right? That's still 6,000 years, right? To create the earth again, right? After a giant nuclear holocaust, right? Again, right? Which we don't know when that'll really happen, but if it happens, it's going to mess up the earth either way for everybody, right? You're not going to win, you're going to lose, right? You can't win in a nuclear war. No one knows. No one does. No one knows. Now, another thing is they could rebuild the city that was originally destroyed again, right? In an act of repentance, and it'll still be destroyed again, right? You know what I mean? That's how stubborn you are. There is a hotel in the Bahamas called Atlantis, by the way. And we matched some of the things they said we could do. We could talk to each other with communication crystals, right? The phone. We had airplanes to take us around, right? They wouldn't know how to describe that in Plato's day, but that's what they were talking about, right? See, when you loop or you're replenished, right, means the same thing, right? You're brought back to the beginning and go from there again, right? And it's always back to the beginning, not the end, right? The end is the new beginning, back to where it was originally, right? Is what it entails, right? That's why, in a way, we're stuck in the loop. And I don't think there's a way out, right? Because of Satan. Blame him all you want, but he's partially the blame, right? But we are too, because we like siding with him. That's the problem too, right? He can give you creature comforts, but he can't give you eternal life, right? Only God can do that, and if he has to replenish the earth to do so, it's the only thing he can do, right? See, the truth is much colder than you think, right? Now, John talks about the day of the Lord, right? But that could be always day 6, right? There's one day the Lord gets a whole day with us, right? That can always be day 6, right? The day 7, right? But one is longer, one might be shorter, right? Day 7 might be 10,000 years at least, right? If you cut it in half and subtract 2 for some reason, right? Because see, the 10 witnesses witness against Christ. You know who you are. Maybe 11 if you count Matthias, and who are male dominant by the men of their society, and they fear men more than they fear God, right? All 11, even Judas was part of the betrayal because his father Simon, whichever Simon that is, right? And there's only one major Simon in the Bible, Peter. Peter was Peter, the father of Jesus, right? And John tried to tell us briefly Because he knew if he said it directly, you wouldn't hear that, right? But Judas's dad is Simon. And he mentions that off kilter in one of the chapters, right? Around 8, 9, or 10, right? So you got to read it for yourself, right? If you don't believe me, right? Now, who did Satan enter in first, that Peter? When? When Christ was talking about going to Jerusalem and being betrayed to the... Well, perhaps he made sure that happened, right? And Judas selected the lot, right? The lot fell on Judas like with Matthias, And just as Judas was replaced by Matthias by lots, he was also chosen to betray Jesus by lots, right? But they're lying about it. They're not telling you that part. How can only one betray him? None of them wanted to, too, right? Not even Judas. But he was kind of forced to because he knew the high priest a little bit, right? And can get in on the action there, right? Read the story. What they do tell you, though, is to hide what they can't tell you because you would despise them as well. I know. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. They betrayed him as much as the Romans and everyone else did as well. Mm-hmm. To betray your master is to betray your master. Don't matter whether you admit it all or not, right? He admitted the part where he denied him 3 times, but not all. That had to happen in between that, too, right? And they barely put up a fight anyway, right? All he did was kind of cut off one of the guard's ears in a half-ass attempt. I don't know. That's called a glancing blow at someone who probably never held this hard, I guess, right? If he was a fisherman all his life, right? But another thing is, you don't just go for the head, you go for the neck and try to cut it off. With someone like that, right? Like Thanos and Thor, right? If you've seen that movie, anyway. No spoilers there, right? But anyway. Well, mm-hmm. But like he said, right? That just shows Thor ain't vindictive like Thanos is and didn't think to go for the head, right? And lop it off. He wasn't that kind of God figure, right? Just cut off your head, right? He didn't have to do all that either. He's the God of lightning and thunder. Mm-hmm. And lightning could come out of his hands, right? Or he could make it strike wherever he wanted it to, right? Now, don't mean I can, right? But see, my power is my breath won't go out of my body, right? As long as my breath is in my body, I'm what? Alive. Now, don't mean you can't attempt to assassinate me or something crazy like that, but if you are, you're believing part of the story, right? Including that I can heal like the Wolverine, right? And if you're going to heal like someone, the Wolverine will be it. Or the other 2 or 3 characters who can heal like that, right? Now there's 4. You got the little girl, Mariko, or whoever the Asian girl was, who was played by Kelly Hu, right? And then you got, what's his name, Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Which Deadpool morphed into the red suit guy, played by Ryan Reynolds, though it was played by Ryan Reynolds in the first one, anyway, right? Origin of Wolverine. Now, the Wolverine is in Japan, right? After all that, right, by the way. Jean was dead and all that, right? Mm-hmm. That's after he kind of turned his back, I guess, right? Kind of there too. Alright. Gotta put out the trash. Yakety yak. Don't talk back.